Lock in. Etiquette expert answers etiquette questions from Twitter. How the fuck do you even become an etiquette expert? Do you go to class for that, or are you just going to a bunch of fucking fancy British parties, and now you're a king of knowing what the fuck you need to do at a nice dinner? Like the no elbows on the table? Fuck that shit. If my elbows are touching the table, I'm an asshole at a restaurant. Bitch, I'm gonna sit in a restaurant like this. And if somebody goes, your elbows are on the table, I'm gonna say, what do you care? Why is that? Because it looks weird? It looks unprofessional? Sorry.
Questions. This is etiquette support.
Wow, he talks fancy too.
At Dolly Morole asks, I always do my best to have good table etiquette, but I still genuinely do not understand the no elbows on the table rule.
Exactly.
Why is that important? 3 exclamation marks. The no elbows on the table rule goes back to the medieval times in Europe, where they were...
And we're not in the medieval times anymore, right? I don't even need to hear this story. We're not in the medieval times anymore. Did, like, a king get mad that the elbows were on the table?
Eating from trestle tables. They would put these benches out with sheets of wood on top. If you put your elbows on the table would tip, and the food would go everywhere, and obviously that's not very good etiquette. And so it became the etiquette and not
So they actually had a real reason to not put their elbows on the fucking table.
Your elbows on the table. We do really still abide by...
Gabriel already said skip. Gabriel, I'm gonna do you a favor, pal, and I'm gonna time you out for the rest of the stream, brother.
The no elbows on the table rule, because I think it looks really ugly. At Qualinx is saying, what's the proper way to stir the tea, clockwise or anti-clockwise? Great.
Who gives a shit? What? There's a way that I have to stir my tea? Who cares? What the fuck? Oh my god.
Question, and the answer is
I didn't even know. It's neither of them. Oh, so does it not matter?
Instead, we stir in a back and forth 6-12, 6-12 motion, gently flicking the teaspoon at the top of the cup, not banging around like that, thank you very much. Set it back in line with the handle and enjoy. RG Meister is asking, actually, f this site. I'm learning how to cut cheese for charcuterie. Well, you live life on...
That's your first problem is using a charcuterie board. That's your first problem is being a dickhead that gets a fucking charcuterie board. If you don't know what a charcuterie board is, it's just a fucking wooden board with a bunch of cheese and meat on it. And, like, olives and shit. Why the fuck do I want to eat that? Why don't I just get a meal, right? What type of... like some girl dinner type shit. I'm gonna just fucking sit down and eat a brick of cheese and a fucking half handle of fucking salami, and then I'm gonna call that my dinner? No.
On the edge. Here comes our cheese selection.
Disgusting. Oh my god, dude, that looks like it has berries in it. Ugh. See, now, I don't think I could ever stomach eating... That's genuinely just rotting cheese. That's mold. You're eating mold.
Thank you. You don't want to take the best bit of the cheese for yourself. And the best bit of the cheeses that are made in the round, is the nose of the cheese. And on this blue cheese here, that would be this bit. So we wouldn't cut like so, because you'd be taking the creamiest bit for yourself, and that's not good manners. Instead, we are going to cut down, keeping the original shape, and then we would place that cheese.
Dude, what? Like, there's people that are alive that just eat blocks of blue cheese.
Shape. And
like, I could see myself eating maybe, like, a nice Gouda, or, like, this one. But you're just gonna just pound down a fucking half-pound brick of fucking blue cheese.
And we would place that cheese on our individual plate. We have a question now from Joe P.E. Haley. How do you eat your peas? Excellent question. Cue the peas.
With a spoon.
Thank you so much.
Those look disgusting, though. Those look like canned peas. There's a fucking specific way to eat peas.
Just ordered this plate of peas from the nearest available tin. What we don't do is scoop like this. In really casual dining, that might be permissible, but in more formal dining, we're going to use both the fork and the knife. Some people...
Why are we using a fork and a knife to eat peas? What type of fucking idiot-ass shit is this? Use a spoon. Use a spoon. Why am I shoveling fuck? Are we not just taking availability of the fucking the fucking utensils that we've invented as humans?
People do this. I think this is more difficult to keep those peas balanced. You see, there we go, one's gone. It's much better to just spear them onto the tines of your
No, yo, you gotta be joking. You gotta be joking. That's how he eats. That's how he eats peas. You fucking you fork them. You stab your peas to eat them, dude. That would take an hour to eat that plate of peas.
Your fork and eat like so. The etiquette man is asking,
that can't be right. That actually can't be right.
Is cheersing or clinking your glass on the table proper etiquette? Oh, so many people do it. But it's not actually correct. In formal dining, you're drinking from fine glassware that's expensively made, and if you do start smashing your glasses together, you're going to hear the clink of glass all over the floor, and that'll somewhat ruin the meal. We have a tweet.
Well, then it's not a very good fucking wine glass if I clink it and it shatters.
From @Shelley Leahy. No, but why should we care about etiquette? Like, who the cares about which fork goes where? Why does it?
Never understood that. You ever go to a fancy restaurant and there's like 3 forks and 2 spoons and multiple different knives? Like, I know the difference between a steak knife and a regular knife, but I'm just going to use whatever I think is right. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I have to eat out to in or in to out. Fork goes on the left. I don't give a shit, dude, where the fork goes. I'm just going to put that bitch wherever you're going to use it.
Matter, they've put in block capitals. Clearly have strong opinions on this. Etiquette is important to everybody. If you are a user of Earth, then you need etiquette and manners. No one is exempt from that. Predominantly what I'm...
Yeah, but I don't think anybody... I think like 99% of the population would not give a shit if I eat peas with a spoon. Or don't use the right salad fork.
Focusing on today is Western, British, American etiquette. Droovy Modi 10 is saying, who even decides table etiquette? Like, I'll keep the fork however I want without giving some secret...
Hold up, my manager texted me.
...message on whether I like the food or not. Okay, so there is some etiquette fake news that does the rounds on social media. There is a graphic showing the different positions to put your cutlery in based on...
Bro, but even at a fancy restaurant, I don't think they're gonna know. Okay, and then, yo, instead of being an actual dickhead and wedging the knife into the fork to tell them I didn't like the food, you just tell the waiter you didn't like the food. Right? And clearly, if you ate all of the dish and then put your fork and knife there on an empty plate, it must have not sucked that bad because you ate all of it. TB should stars for the sub.
The different positions to put your cutlery in based on whether you liked the food or not, whether you're ready for a second plate. It's a load of rubbish. The only positions you put your cutlery in when they're not being held in your hand is to...
So it doesn't matter.
...indicate that you are resting or if you are finished. When we're resting, the cutlery goes like so. When we're finished, in Britain, we would put the cutlery together, but in other parts of the world, that might be at a slight angle, and in France, the fork might be turned over. That is what the waiting staff are looking for. Wasim NYC is asking...
No, they're not. Like, and maybe at fine dining, I'm, like, actually calling cap on all of this. They're looking for an empty plate and you not eating anymore. They'll walk up to me and say, are you done? And I'll go, yeah. And then I'll hand them my plate. They ask. They are looking for that. Bro, I'm telling you right now, majority of American restaurants are not looking for what way your fucking forks are facing.
Is it ever okay to interrupt someone in a conversation? Short answer, no. And if it is okay, which it isn't, when is it an appropriate time? I mean, look, if they're on fire, then you might perhaps need to say, can I just stop you there? Your trousers are alight. But other than that, let them...
I don't like when people aggressively interrupt you, but I think it's a very normal thing for friends to interrupt each other to get a conversation going, right? Just so it's a quick back and forth. Like, if you wait for me to finish talking entirely, the conversation's going to be me yapping for 5 minutes, and then them yapping for 5 minutes, and then it's boring, right? Versus me getting 3 sentences in, you getting 3 sentences in. You interrupt Brooke, Brooke interrupts me. Me and Brooke interrupt each other. Not to the point where she's mid-sentence and I'm going to just start talking over her. But, like, I mean, maybe on stream because it's just, like, we're both energetic. But in a regular conversation with Brooke, I mean, she might, like, be halfway through a story and then pause, and I'll interject. So it's not really an interruption, but I'll, like, talk, and then she'll keep finishing the story or something.
Finish. But note to everyone else, a conversation is meant to be like a game of tennis. You're not meant to hold the ball and not let it go. At Virgin Radio Toronto are asking, is it wrong to taste a bottle of wine at a restaurant and then send it back because you don't like it? Well, the restaurant are going to love you because you're going to be paying for the first bottle and the second bottle. The only reason, thank you, that you can send something back is because there is a problem with the wine because it is corked, and that's where there's been a problem in the storage process.
Wait, what? I always thought when you order a bottle of wine and they give it to me and I've never said no, right? I don't even taste. If I order a bottle of wine, I don't even need to taste it. I'm just going to fucking drink it. But when I taste the wine and I go, it's good, like, if I said it's bad, I still have to pay for that shit? Well, Bartolozzi for the sub.
By the time you get the wine to about here, you will know that it is corked. It will stink. This is from B1 Aka. How TF do you eat a big-ass burger in a non-grotesque way? Well, that's an excellent question. Thank you. Now, this burger, this is huge. Nobody's got a mouth that big. So instead, you're going to
I think I could house that. I think if he cuts it up, I'm going to get so mad. If he cuts it up, dude, that's, you know how, you want to know how you eat that burger? And then you smash the ever-living piss out of it. You mush that thing. You make it a smash burger yourself. And then you eat it.
Deconstruct it first with your knife and fork. Take the top.
Oh, he's taking it apart. Yo, you just put that fucking coleslaw on the fries. You just ruined that. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. What are you doing?
Of the bun off, and then cut a little bit, and then eat like so.
Then what's the point of a fucking burger? What? Yo, why order a burger if I'm just gonna fucking deconstruct it and eat everything individually? What the fuck are the comments saying? This guy's what Americans typically think of when imagining a British person. Your trousers are a light. I'll be using that to interrupt somebody who is lying. I dearly love that he has quite openly acknowledged the fact that etiquette is culturally specific. So often we see people assuming that everybody must follow the same rules regardless of the context or location.
At Richard Bicknays is asking, what fork etiquette do you use? I'm sure I'd get roasted in Europe for my very American knife and fork etiquette. Well, yes, there are some differences.
Yo, when I see a motherfucker holding a fork like this. Wait, hold up. Like, you should hold it like this. Like, with your finger. Like, you would hold it, and then you cut, and then eat. Versus, like, somebody that holds it like they're a toddler. Like, just like, full fist around the fucking neck of the fork.
In Britain, when we're using a knife and fork together, they are both held at the same time. The knife stays low. We obviously don't put the knife anywhere near our mouth. And the food is conveyed.
Yo, sometimes if I'm eating chicken at my house, I won't even use a knife, and I'll just grab the whole piece of chicken with a fork and just bite a piece off. Because then I don't have to wash the knife. Because it saves me a utensil.
Is conveyed via the fork. And in Britain, the tines of the fork, the prongs, always face downwards. Now in America, they will start like this, cut a little bit of food, place the knife down on the edge of the plate, turn the fork over, stab and eat.
No. I'm gonna cut a piece of steak in. Cut a piece of steak in. Cut a piece of steak in. I'm not gonna cut a piece of steak, put my knife down, transfer hands, and then eat it. That's just a waste of time. That's not efficient.
Eat, pick up the knife, cut another little bit of food. This is an aerobic exercise. This is not relaxing in any way. So we don't suggest eating like that in Britain. But of course,
is this his job? Like, do you think he his job is being an etiquette guy and people pay him to like teach them this shit?
in America, it's perfectly correct if that's how they wish to eat. Mr. Rickson is saying that according to etiquette expert Emily Post, there are 3 proper ways to eat spaghetti. How do you do it? Thank you. Looks so appetizing. Well, Emily Post wrote her book in America at the turn of the 20th century.
You put a spoon. Yo, I know a lot of people that put a spoon and twirl it. I just jam a fork in the middle of the pasta, twist it, and then eat that bitch. Right? And I just do that. I don't need a spoon or a knife or anything. I'm not even going to cut up the pasta. I'm going to immediately jam my fork in there, and it could be like the longest strain ever. I'm going to put it in my mouth, and I'm going to go like I'm eating a fruit roll-up until the spaghetti's all in my mouth. Or if it's too much, then I just bite it, and I go, and then the rest falls down.
Now, I don't know about the etiquette back then, but I don't think there were 3 ways to eat spaghetti. But today, there is only 1 way. You are not going to cut your pasta. It's very bad form. It is just eaten with the fork upturned in the dominant hand. And you go in from the edge of your spaghetti, twist and make a neat little parcel.
That is the driest spaghetti I've ever seen. That looks like rubber.
And then eat like so. At lol, it's Lawrence, says, what is the worst etiquette sin ever? If you do not say please, thank you, and sorry as a human being.
When you try to rip ass at the table, but it's actually a loud fart and people hear it. Yo, if you're at a restaurant, if I'm at a restaurant and I gotta rip ass, I'm ripping ass. I'm gonna tell you, I lean forward, and I like fix my pants, and then I kind of just go like this while I'm listening to a conversation, and then I just rip a silent fart. Just immediate, just rip ass. Or I'll lean over. You do one of these, but you gotta. This is kind of an obvious fart motion, right? When you kind of lean over, so you got to do it very minimally to where like it's not even noticeable. Maybe lean on one side of the chair, and then just rip ass, right? But I think there's been like 2 times in my life where like I'm leaning, and instead of like a silent fart, it's like an actual like. And then it's like you're happy that there's conversation going on, and it's not like a quiet ass restaurant, but you do a little look around to see if anybody noticed. And then what really makes you nervous? The majority of my farts, I'm talking 90%, don't smell. But you're sitting like in the middle of the table, you rip ass, and then you smell it. Then you're with your friends, and somebody goes, "Yo, who just ripped ass?" Around my friends, I'll say me. But if it's like random people, I don't know. That shit smells terrible, dude. Fuck.
Walking on this earth, then you should be put into etiquette room 101 and the key should be thrown away. Those are the absolute basic fundamental things of being a human being. This one is from @SassyFrenchy. Do they know the etiquette in France is to arrive 15 minutes late at the host's house so they can prepare?
Go to the comments on his TikTok. He is a TikTok. Gabe for the sub.
On time. This is a really interesting one, and I think one that is changing with...
What was the question? Did they know etiquette in France is to arrive 15 minutes late at the host's house so they can prepare on time?
On time. This is a really interesting one, and I think one that is changing with different generations. So in Britain and in France and several other countries, it did used to be the etiquette that you never arrived on time to someone's house for a dinner. So if I said to you, come for 7:30, you would turn up at 7:40, maybe 7:45. However, I think millennials and Gen Z now are slightly panicked if their guests are not there at the time they have said. So I would say really if someone now says to you 7...
No. If you invite your friends over, what time do you think they're going to show up? For the 150.01, added the extra penny for your troubles. I don't even know who sent this. It's not showing up. Your dono ID is not showing up. Who sent that? Thank you for the 150. I have no idea who sent that. Magma for the 3 says W charity stream. Gabe for the sub. Holy shit. After 30 minutes? If I tell my friends, hey, we're hanging out at 5, I'm expecting them. Okay, it depends on the friend, right? Do you guys know your friend? Like, out of your friend group, you could probably mark out when each person would show up. Like, next time you hang out with your friends, do it. Write down when you think they'll show up. If I say, hey, come at 5 o'clock, 2 of my friends are going to show up at 5. 3 are going to show up between 5:10 and 5:20, and one of them's going to show up at like 6. And then one just won't come, even though they said they would. Like, that. You can usually just tell based on your friend group.
7:30, probably go for 7:35. As a host, it's really nice to have those 10, 15 minutes just to have a breather, do those final preparations, have a gin and tonic. And generally, the friends that don't get...
Or they just show up and you're still doing shit and it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm hosting, like, a dinner party or we're doing something at a specified time and they show up and I'm not done, it's not that big of a deal.
Get the 15 minutes, 10...
If anything, they help me.
Because you're not meant to have it reclined then. Ah, yes, they're from Austin, Texas, which explains so much.
Heather, stop spamming. I'm going to ban you. I don't know his TikTok. What do you want me to look up? Fucking fancy British guy that knows about etiquette? Oh my fucking God.
You can... You're not meant to have it reclined. I've never not reclined my seat. My seat stayed about that because you're not meant to have it reclined then. Ah, yes, they're from Austin, Texas, which explains so much. I would suggest that if you are going to recline your seat, and you are right at KHB, if you want to recline your seat, you can.
Maybe take your cowboy hat off first. You country fuck. You idiot. Of course they're from Austin, Texas. Maybe if you want to recline your seat, you take your stupid cowboy boots off first.
But don't do it during the meal service. Do make sure you just sort of slightly check behind you. It's a signal that you are going to do it, and you do it slowly.
You disgusting country fool. I bet you smell like the dirt and west. I bet you smell like horses and other farm animals. You dirty boy.
Don't do it violently. At Ms. Robot Butt.
Next you tell me you want to fucking lower your seat. You want to recline your seat on an airplane. Why not get first class then? Oh, 'cause you're poor.
Says, help, this girl is telling me about horoscopes.
Bitch-ass country fuck.
And I've literally no interest in it. I don't know how to get out of this conversation. Try and pair them off with someone else. Say to them, oh, I've just seen someone over there I must go and chat to before they go. But have you met Anna? No? I'm going to introduce this person with Anna, and off you go. It's much nicer than just going, I've got to go, bye, and then walk.
That's a bigger dickhead thing to do. You're putting the annoying person on somebody else.
Off. At Brave Arcanine is asking, it feels like unless I hunt down the waiter that we want the check or bill, we could be there for hours. Is this a thing? The way to get a waiter's attention is purely body language. We don't want any clicking, any clapping, or any flapping about. Instead, sort of sit.
No, this is what you gotta do. You go, oh, waiter! Oh, waiter! Just scream at him and then do a silent, like you want the check. Yo! Yo! It's like you're all the way across the restaurant. The second you finish your food, you're still chewing the last bit of food. Gary! Yo! Yo!
Back from the table, make yourself a little bit taller and try and catch their eye as they go past. Keep the hand at the level of the eye, and then when they come over, please may I have the...
I just stare at them. If I'm being honest, if I need the waiter at a restaurant, I'm going like this. I sit up instead of slouching my seat, and I go, and I'm looking for them. And the second I see them, I just stare at them until they make eye contact with me. Because if they make eye contact with me, then they know I want something. That's all you need to do. Not like a weird stare where I'm like angry at them, but I'm just like, I look in their vicinity, and when they turn and look at my table, I look at them, and then that makes them know that I want them to come to the table.
That's all you need to say. At Ed Azumi is asking, I need a crash course on how to properly address royals. Well, I'm going to take the British royal family. The king and queen are referred...
When you walk up to the king and queen, you say, "What up, big slice?" And you dap him up. Remember, after you dap him up, to snap. If you don't snap, you didn't actually dap him up. You did kind of a weird handshake.
To as their majesty, but direct conversation you would say your majesty, and then you would call the king.
You fuck out of here. I ain't calling no damn king your majesty. Yo, swear to God. If I walked past the king of England, I'd be like, yo, what up, Charles? I might call him king. I mean, like, what up, King Charles? I'm not saying your majesty.
King Sir thereafter, and Queen Camilla would be ma'am, and that's ma'am as in ham, not ma'am as in farm, and every other member of the royal family, if they have an HRH title, would be Your Royal Highness, followed by Sir or ma'am according to their gender. At Salt Cheek is asking, I'm having an internal debacle right now. A lady is standing in front of me in the train. She looks pregnant, but not really. Do I ask? Do I offer my seat? There is a...
Just offer your seat. It is really weird, though. I'll be around. It's usually, like, women that are confident to do it to other women. I don't know if it's, like, a soul read thing, but, like, I've been around Brooke, and she'll be like, "Oh, how's the baby?" to somebody that's, like, pregnant. And she's never gotten it wrong, right? They'll always be like, "Oh," and they'll have a nice conversation about it. But if I feel like if I was ever, like... How late are you? What? Like, how many months? Fuck are you talking about? Oh. and then you're just calling them fat. Right? And then you're just calling them fat because they have a stomach.
There's always that slight jeopardy that, of course, you might offend somebody. But the good news is you're probably never seeing them ever again. If you wish to offer your seat to anybody who looks like they need that seat more than you, then yes, you can do that. At Sean Coomins is saying, I hold the door open for anyone, always. But I would like some...
Yo, honest take. Offer your seat to the most able-bodied person on the train and see what they say. Like a 6'3" jacked bodybuilder in his 30s stand up and be like, oh, sorry, do you need the seat? Oh, they'd get mad immediately. They'd be like, the fuck do you mean do I need the seat? What are you saying? What are you saying? I'm out of shape? I can't fucking stand?
Some clarification on the optimum distance at which it is acceptable to let the door close instead of enduring that awkward long-ish wait and forcing them to break into that slightly embarrassed half jog. 2.4.
I love holding a door from like a mile away. So fun. Hold it. You see somebody in the middle of the parking lot, hold the door for them. And just stand there. And they're going to be like, fuck. And they just start jogging. They're like, thanks. And so you're making them put more effort. They actually burned more calories than if you just didn't open the door for them.
4 meters. No, that's a joke. There's no correct distance for me to give you. It's just what feels...
What feels normal, yeah.
Right. But at least glance behind and check. At B-Day 1961 is asking, how do you get rid of house guests that overstay their welcome? I have various different tactics. First of all, I might say to them, have you got a very busy day tomorrow? Or I might say to people, can I get anyone anything else? Which, again, is another passive-aggressive piece of British etiquette to me.
Yeah, that's, like, fucking mean. That's, like, more... I would rather just somebody tell me to leave. And I've had friends do that. Not even just me. Like, it'll be, like, me and, like, 6 of my friends at one of my friends' houses. He's like, all right, I'm tired, leave. Like, not randomly. It'll be, like, he'll say, like, all right, this is my last game or something. If we're playing, like, a fucking, I don't know, like, a game night or a card game or some shit. He'll be like, all right, fuck off. Right? In, like, a respectful way. But, like, that's better than being like, oh, all right, can I get anybody anything else? Would you like anything else? Oh, no? Okay.
Please leave. If all of that fails, you can just flick the lights and hope they get the message.
Just turn off the lights. Can I get anybody anything else? No, we're okay. 5 minutes later, you just shut the dining room light off and go to bed. You turn off all the lights in the house and just leave.
Like a nightclub. Well, those are all of the burning
That's
etiquette
hilarious.
questions we've got time for today. Thank you very much indeed for watching.
Oh my god, I loved that video. Dude, the funniest shit was when he started eating peas with a fork. Oh my god. Dude. Holy shit. All right.